Assalamu alaikum. Today I'm meeting one of Pakistan's most well-loved actors. He's an actor who I've known for many years, and I can say that it's a fact that he loves what he does. He obsesses over what he does. He thinks about every character so much, he analyzes it. We love him for it. That obsession, I feel, has always shown on screen. However, we haven't been seeing him on screen too much. Oh, I'd also like to add he's one of our favorite heartthrobs. I don't know if you'll agree with me on that, but I'm so glad to be interviewing after many years. I used to interview him every year, but now after many years, I'm interviewing Ahad Raza Mir. How are you, Ahad?
I'm good. Good to see you after so long.
Good to see you after so long too. अब हम हर साल इंटरव्यू करेंगे फिर से पहले की तरह.
That's the plan. Once a year at least.
I have it recorded on video now. But you did take a back seat from the public eye for a while. क्यों आहद? क्यों interviews नहीं हो रहे थे? काम तो हो रहा था.
काम तो हो रहा था, and I generally felt कि मेरे पास कुछ बात करने के लिए है नहीं. I felt कि I don't know, after the work that I had done, I wanted to take a bit of a break from everything, which I think for me is a little therapeutic. It's nice to, after doing a few roles, you want to take a back seat and be Ahad for a bit.
Especially you, because you immerse yourself in every character. ये तो मुझे हमेशा से पता है.
Yeah, I try to. That's the job.
But I was surprised कि हम तुम के बाद आपने किसी से बात नहीं की, because that was such an all-out Ramzan hit. You know how huge Ramzan dramas can get. Is the success of a Ramzan drama much more the hype following a Ramzan drama, the popularity following a Ramzan drama? Is it more than that of a regular drama? You've had experiences with both kinds now.
I wouldn't say it's less or more. I think Ramzan ka jo time hota hai na, it's where you're with your families. You're, that's kind of the whole point of that month is togetherness. That's how I see it. So the Ramzan dramas are good because it's an episode every day. And instead of waiting the week per episode, you're there with those characters, with that story every day, not just as a viewer and with the content that you're watching, but you're there with your family. Everybody's broken their fast and they're sitting and they're watching. So I think वो एक connectivity वैसे ही हो जाती है. I think that's the reason they get hyped up so much, and people have a lot of love for them.
हाँ, but अच्छा आहद, इससे पहले हम तुम से पहले I had always associated you with serious roles. I mean, उससे पहले वाला ड्रामा ये दिल मेरा था, heavy duty, धूप की दीवार, heavy duty, और फिर हम तुम आए, which was so light-hearted, family comedy. Did you have doubts about going into this genre?
I didn't have doubts. I think I did that partially because I needed a break from all the heavy
stuff
roles, maybe, and because I wanted to explore kind of the comedy side, the lighthearted side, which I really, really enjoyed. I think maybe I struggled in the beginning a little bit, but I had such a great director with me, Danish Nawaz, who kind of we had a really good connection in how we wanted to approach the role and the story. So I think a lot of the credit goes to Danish.
अच्छा, and you as an audience, what do you like? Do you like the light-hearted Hum Tum type stuff or the heavy-duty Dhoop Ki Deevar stuff?
As an audience?
Yeah. What would you watch?
I think I sometimes like to watch things that are a little mind-numbing. Sometimes you don't want to get too invested because वैसे भी हम काम भी यही करते हैं, day and night. So sometimes I like watching things like, Nat Geo, where it's just about animals and their way of life, or something that doesn't require me to think too much. So I think on that end, lighthearted is something I prefer.
Lighthearted is something you prefer?
Yeah.
Halanki all through your career, I mean, even when you go to Canada, you go off and you play a Hamlet.
Yeah. 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 Oh, that was. Yeah, I think the last production we just did was last year in October.
And do you plan to go again?
I think I'm Shakespeare'd out.
For now?
Yeah, for now. So maybe next time I go, it'll be something a bit more contemporary.
Acha. Yeah. But you will continue dabbling with theatre when you go abroad? है ये एक चीज़ आपके दिमाग में?
Yeah, I have to, because I think at the end of the day, that's what grounds you the most. Film and TV is a phenomenal profession to be part of. But as an actor, when your root comes from theater, you have to go back to it to kind of settle yourself a bit, especially when you're part of the showbiz industry, as we call it. You need to go back to a place where you were hungry for work, where it didn't matter who's a star, who's this, who's the director. You go back to just the work and I think that's really done well for me, and especially gives you an opportunity to show people outside Pakistan how much people love Pakistani dramas and Pakistani actors, because every show we've done has sold out, has oversold every day. So that opportunity for me to go and interact with fans, interact with the people, that's probably one of the best parts about it. And people get to see me in a completely different light. Like, I'm right there, I'm there with them, I know
Live.
that they're there. So that experience, nothing beats that.
It must be something else.
Right, yeah.
And I'm sure a lot of your fans there, the ones acquainted with your Pakistani
Yeah.
work, must also come to see it. क्योंकि कनाडा में इतने हैं लोग जो पाकिस्तानी काम देखते हैं. अच्छा, ये जो स्टार वाली बात है, is it different here? You're mashallah, you've earned your way and you are a well-loved hero. You're a
Thank you.
star. You're a star. क्या ट्रीटमेंट अलग होती है सेट पे? क्या आपकी बात सुनी जाती है? क्या कैन यू थ्रो योर वेट अबाउट जस्ट अ लिटिल बिट?
Well, I don't think it's fair to throw any weight around or anything like
Yeah,
that,
it
because
isn't.
at the end of the day, I think the star or the stardom should be offset. When you're on a set, the whole thing is collaborative with the other actors, with the director, with the writer. It's a collaborative work, and that's what I love about it the most. So the star stuff, matlab, maybe you can throw your weight around in the sense that, I believe something should go in this direction or that. But at the end of the day, I think the director is still the captain of the ship. So you have to kind of follow their vision and trust them.
तो फिर ये, हालांकि वो स्टार अपील ऑफ कैमरा होती होगी पाकिस्तान में, when you're on set you're just an actor working with all the other actors.
And I think that's how it should be.
Huh.
I think we should be stars or celebrities, whatever you want to call it, off set. And there should be kindness in that. There should be a warmth for people, for the people that love you and love watching your work. You should be there for them. I think I'm only in this position I am in my life because of the warmth and the love I get from other people. If that wasn't there, I wouldn't be on that set.
And you get so much love. You're very well loved. ये तो बात सच है. और the fact कि आपका इतने दिनों से कोई ड्रामा नहीं आया, कोई चीज़, किसी मूवी, nothing. The international work, a lot of people haven't
been able to
seen.
see, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people haven't seen. They connect more with the desi dramas. ज़ाहिर है,
हाँ.
जो audience है, हम देखते हैं, where is Ahad Raza Mir? Why isn't he here? I mean, despite the fact that you've been out of sight, you're not out of mind.
Thank God, yeah.
Yeah,
It's a good feeling.
That's a very good thing. That's something you've earned through your work.
Which I think is also a little, what I've realized with time has become unfair to the fans and to the people who maybe still want to see me on screen.
Yeah.
I think it's a bit of my process maybe has been unfair to the public.
Your process. अच्छा, वैसे तो आप ठीक है. You haven't been seen in a Pakistani project, but I think it's because you were busy with the other stuff. It's not
Yeah,
like you were
because-
sitting at home doing nothing.
Yeah. I mean, if we go back to 2021,
Huh.
I did the Netflix show. And then 2022, right after Hum Tum, I think it was just a month after I got cast in the BBC show. So I went off for that. And that was 2 months. So I felt like those gaps that I usually take, I wasn't given those gaps because I think the opportunity to work with BBC was something I didn't want to pass down. And I'm so happy I did it. That show is still, I think, one of the most fulfilling roles that I've done, one of the most fulfilling experiences that I've had.
हाँ, you couldn't give that up, but then you didn't have a break.
No, I
तो
didn't have a
लोगों
break.
को लगता है कि they haven't seen you, but it's
Yeah.
because you've been seen in other stuff.
Yeah.
Are you happy with where your career is right now?
I think so. I think I'm happy. I'm grateful. I'm grateful for where it is. I think if I go back to, the young actor who came to Pakistan when he was 23.
How many years ago?
It's been almost 7-8 years. Yeah. At that time, you're hungry for work. You'll do anything. I mean, you just want to work. You just want to work on your craft, be seen. And I think I'm very fortunate that I've come to a point where I am lucky enough. I have the luxury to choose and kind of decide what it is I want to do. I'm kind of the one that's looking at my career and deciding what path I want to take it in. So I'm happy with where it is. But I do miss it. I do miss doing more work, I think.
अच्छा,
Yeah.
चलें तो do more work.
I will. I plan on it. I plan on it.
Are you selective? Very selective with the story, with the dramas that you sign on to?
No, I don't think it's a matter of being selective. I think it's just when something speaks to me, I just do it. I used to be somebody who thought a lot about what they're going to do next, but now it's come to a point where I feel like if something is touching me here, and I find that it's a role that maybe I haven't explored before. I don't see a reason why I wouldn't say yes.
तो वही तो selective होना होता है. Selective is के touch करें ना करें कर लें, बस churn out. A lot of people churn out content. They want to be visible all the time. ये भी तो होता है एक perspective.
Yeah, and I think I don't know. I guess that's a good question. If you ask me that I'm selective, I would say that I'm not, but I guess habitually I have become.
I think you always were. I think you always because all those past interviews that I've had with you, हमेशा कोई एक ड्रामा होता था जिसके बारे में you would analyze and talk about it with such passion. It's because you believed in it. जो आपने वो किया था ना. अच्छा ये जो है ना the people's love off camera and how it should be dealt with kindness, for sure. But you're also a very private individual. I know that. You've always been very private. You've never even posted rampantly on social media. Hardly ever, Ahad. So ye, is it okay? The fan attention, is it always easy to manage? Especially when they get nosy.
I think anybody who says that being famous or being a celebrity or being a star becomes a very, oh, it's so daunting, oh, there's fans everywhere, oh, there's that. I think it's, I'm not going to use any foul language, but I think it's ridiculous. I think being successful in that sense is amazing. It's the best feeling. Anybody who says they don't like being famous, they're lying. It's a wonderful feeling to be loved and to have people's attention and for people to look forward to your work to come out. I think any actor who says that, oh, I can't handle it, I think it's
a lie.
I think it's a lie. And I think we should all be very honest about it, that it's an amazing feeling. You go somewhere for dinner, or you go see a film, or you go on vacation and people take pictures with you and they want to talk to you. That's amazing.
But what if you're in a really bad mood?
So it's not their fault that I'm in a bad mood. I've been in a bad mood lots of times. I've been upset, I've been sad, I had a very bad day, but if someone comes up happy, wanting to take a picture, why should I ruin that moment for them just because I'm in a bad mood? Doesn't make any sense. They have summed up the courage to come and have an interaction with me. What's the point of me saying not right now or this or that? I've never done that in my life and I will never do that.
But ठीक है, सही है. I understand that. And I think that's a good way of looking at it. This fame and this love is not something that everybody is able to get. So you should appreciate it and treasure it. लेकिन साथ साथ कभी कभी होता है कि आप ऐसी जगह पर हैं, आप चाह रहे हैं किसी को ना पता हो, वो छुप छुप के किसी ने तस्वीर ले ली, किसी ने वीडियो बना ली. ये एक है तो कॉन्सिक्वेंस मशहूर होने का. और फिर वो आ गई हर जगह सोशल मीडिया पे. Like what, ये तो मेरी प्राइवेट डिनर था, प्राइवेट इवेंट था.
That's the price you pay.
You're okay with it?
I have to be okay with it. I don't really, there's no
I
other
see
way
random pictures of you shot all the time on Twitter.
Yeah.
And they're the talk of Twitter.
Yeah. I've done the whole putting on a mask and glasses and hat and stuff, but I think it just doesn't work now. So, yeah.
Acha.
So now I'll probably eventually move on to a wig. Put on a wig and go out.
Okay, people watching this interview will now watch out for the wig.
Yeah.
Acha, but you never respond to the Twitter talk, the controversies. क्या वो जो पूरे skepticism एक हो रहा होता है, बातें हो रही होती हैं, debates हो रही होती हैं. You've never responded, ever.
I just don't find a need to respond. I'll respond to love. I'll respond to people saying things that are inspiring.
You joke back.
Work. I'll joke back for sure. There was there's a photo shoot that came out where I had very long hair, and there were some fans who used pictures of me with short hair and inserted those and said, which one's your favorite? I responded, I said the second one's good. So I find those things it's funny, and I think it's good to make fun of yourself.
And it's good to connect with fans that way, in a fun way, rather than say, ye kyun tasveer lagayi aur ye kya? What's the point?
No point.
You're famous now, you have to live with it. Might as well enjoy it.
Yeah, might as well enjoy it.
Yeah. अच्छा हाँ, लंबे बाल, चलें उसकी बात करते हैं. लास्ट टाइम जब मैं आपसे मिली थी ऐसे ही रैंडमली एक इवेंट पे, आपके बाल वाकई बड़े लंबे थे. You were holding it up with a cap. I remember. क्यों?
I had the beard as well at this point?
You had the beard also. So, and I wondered to myself, did not say it out loud, why did he not dress up for this event and cut his hair? So the long hair phase, that was for a character?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think a lot of people at that point might have assumed I was going through something, or maybe I was depressed or going through a bad time. No, it was a role, which you'll all see next year. So I grew my hair out for about probably almost a year. Almost a year. Grew a very long set of hair and a big beard, and that's all for a role. So those of you out there, those fans who keep saying cut your hair, you'll find out why I didn't cut the hair, and you'll be happy that I didn't cut the hair. I hope so.
Yes, I hope so too. And now this look, back to the old Ahad, really.
Yeah, sort of. Back to the old Ahad.
This is also for a role?
Yeah.
Okay. This role we can talk about. I think this is for a drama that's coming up for Hum TV, opposite Danani Mubin, Meem Se Mohabbat. It sounds like a fun story. It sounds like a light-hearted drama, just from the name, you know?
It's lighthearted, with a little bit of a heavy undertone. And it's the kind of story I think I've been looking for. It's a story that's quite multi-dimensional. It's lighthearted, but it has its moments of depth. Not to say that lighthearted work doesn't have depth, but this has something that I think is worth exploring, and that's why I signed up.
So there's a new kind of story altogether from what you've done previously.
Yeah,
is it more Hum Tum like?
Oh no, I don't think there's any element of Hum Tum in it. It's something quite unique, and again, it's a Farhat Ishtiaq script, so I have trouble saying no to her.
You should. Yeah, she's good.
Yeah.
She's good.
I think now I may have broken the record for most Farhat Ishtiaq scripts done.
They've all worked for you wonderfully.
Yeah.
They've all worked for you wonderfully.
Well, her storytelling is phenomenal. I think every time I read one of her stories or hear one of her stories, I get hooked right away.
You read them in Urdu? I'm just curious.
Yeah. I've come that far now.
Good. हाँ, जब बोलना उर्दू में, एक्टिंग उर्दू में करनी है तो पढ़ना भी चाहिए.
Yeah, absolutely.
हाँ, अच्छा. And I'm also curious to see how Dananir and you will look on screen. I think it's a really cool, fresh pairing. It intrigues me.
Yeah, and it justifies the story.
अच्छा, अच्छा. आज मैं बहुत बार रमज़ान ड्रामे के बाद ना मुझे बड़े एक्टर्स ने कहा है कि अब हम कभी रमज़ान ड्रामा नहीं करेंगे. It's exhausting, it's draining because naturally you've got to churn out 31 episodes and it usually the shooting goes on till throughout Ramzan, so you're always rushing through with the next episode क्योंकि वो 4 दिन बाद air होना है. आप कर लेंगे रमज़ान ड्रामा फिर से?
Absolutely, why not? If the opportunity comes up, if I like the script and the story, I don't think it's worth saying I'll never do a Ramzan play again. I think it's people connect to them and the stories are so fun and light, and I think it's important to do light work once in a while. It's important to kind of get rid of this drama that's inside of you and go and have fun on set, not have to think so much. That's what I love the most about doing a Ramzan play is I didn't have to think too much, I had to play more.
ये मेरा next सवाल था. तो जब whenever I've talked to you earlier, it's usually been for a heavy duty role, very nuanced layers with a deep rooted psychological issue or something. कुछ ना कुछ होता था जिसकी हम बात करते थे. क्या आदम के बारे में भी इतना ही उसे एनालाइज करके प्ले करना पड़ा? इतना डीप कैरेक्टर तो नहीं था ना वो जितना बाकी बहुत से पिछले ड्रामे में थे लोग.
I think I'll never approach a character as if they're not deep.
Okay.
I think they're human beings.
Of course, they must have layers. They must have sides to them.
It's when it went from being fun to being serious. You know, right when we get to the end, when he realizes that, I love this girl, and something's going on in here, and they're not connecting, and I think that's what became exciting. And when he starts to panic that she's going to somebody else, I think that's where the character really matured.
That's when it gets amazing.
Yeah. And I think the beauty of every comedy is when it stops being a comedy. You've spent, 20, 21 episodes with these characters, and it's been light and fun, and it's been a great time, and all of a sudden you've been laughing with them, and now all of a sudden you start crying with them because you realize what they're going through, what the things that give them pain or heartbreak, and you go, oh my God, I've been having so much fun with these characters, laughing with them, and now I'm crying with them.
It's when it's well narrated.
Yeah,
वो जो transition है ना, अगर वो smoothly हो और intelligently हो, that's when you laugh with them and then you proceed to cry with them. बुरा narrated हो तो चाहे actors जितने भी अच्छे हों, I believe कि you stop caring.
Everything, I think it all comes down to the right team.
The right team. The writer, the director, the co-actors. How do you choose? What do you look at first?
First, the script.
The
I think
writer.
the script and the story is the most important thing to look at because you have to understand what you'll be saying, and if you fit into that world. And the point that I bring up about the world is that's what the director is going to create. So now you know that the base of what I'm going to say, what I'll be doing, what the story is. Then you kind of have to put yourself through the filter of the director. What's their vision? And if those two things match up, I think it's going to work. And then you kind of have to have a bit of trust and just dive in. And that's kind of what happened with Hum Tum. I decided, okay, bas chalang marni and
बहुत अच्छी की. I think आपके लिए तो especially बहुत अच्छा career move था because it's a completely new side to Ahad Raza Mir.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
I hope I get to do more work like that.
And that is what an actor should do: delve into different sides, show different sides to.
And I think
his
we
personality.
sometimes, a lot of actors I feel get caught up in the rut of doing the same thing only because when something works for them, when something becomes a hit or something that people have really responded to, we tend to kind of not want to do anything away from that because we feel, well, that's what people liked, so that's what I should keep doing. But then,
Have you ever done that?
No, I almost did. Right after Yaqeen Ka Safar, I found that, oh, this is what people connected with, and maybe that's what I should do. And I thought back to, okay, why am I doing this work? All right, no, gear shift.
Did your father advise you on this? You were very new at that time.
No, not so much.
You just knew instinctively कि नहीं ऐसा ही फिर से नहीं करना. हालांकि उस वक्त वो इतना हिट था. Everybody was swooning over this doctor, and everybody loved the way the story progressed.
Yeah.
कि शायद वो अगला ड्रामा भी अच्छा चलता. But then you'd be in a rut.
Yeah, exactly.
I know.
I find that it's probably more important to give. I think that as actors, we only have a few faces that we can show. And I think that might be one of the reasons I don't do a whole lot of stuff is because I don't want to run out of faces. And I think that no matter what, I'm gonna be playing my own rendition of myself in whatever role I do. So if I've got 5 faces to show, it's only a variety of those 5.
No, you have other faces. Please keep doing more work.
Yeah, maybe I have more than 5, I could say.
I'm sure you have 10.
Yeah, maybe 10 in the pocket. But I think the most important thing is how do I utilize those faces?
In the right story.
In the right story,
In
yeah.
something that hits at you.
Yeah.
Hits at the heart.
Yeah.
है ना? Is there any project of yours that you regret?
No, I don't regret.
Not
any
even
project.
one?
Not one.
Not even maybe one that did not do well?
Pretty good score so far, but the reason I can't regret anything is because I made the choice. Whether it goes good or bad, it's up to...
No, you make the choice because you read the script and you think, oh, this might be something great.
Yeah.
A lot of times, जो कैमरे पे आता है वो नहीं होता जो स्क्रिप्ट में होता है. कभी-कभी कहानी कहीं और चली जाती है या उसकी ट्रीटमेंट कहीं और चली जाती है. ये तो होता है.
100%, I think it happens, but again, a lot of it is trust, and the rest of it you kind of leave to the audience and to God.
So you don't regret anything that you've done?
There's no sense regretting because I learned something out of it. Think of it this
और
way.
जब हो गया तो फिर
I did Hamlet once in 2019. Why would I do the same thing again? I mean, if you think about it, I like doing different roles. Why would I come back to do the same thing? The reason was I felt that there was more for me to explore as an actor. And because time had gone by. I had gotten older. I saw the role a different way. And obviously the second production we did was way bigger. So it was exciting. And it was in a different city. But that's the beauty of theater. Every experience is going to be different. We were talking about doing a US tour for the show. And that was, I think, 2 weeks in each city. Then I said no. I said I need to go back home. I think I would go crazy playing this role for too long.
Yeah, listen, it must get into your head totally, right? Must be pretty.
It is in the
tough
beginning,
on-
but then once you do 3-4 shows, you're kind of on autopilot. You'll be having a discussion with somebody backstage, and you'll hear your cue, and you'll go, okay, 1 second. You go back, you do the whole scene, come back, and continue the conversation. So
Okay,
you're kind
great.
of. It's a very weird feeling, you know, that you are living. You're actually simultaneously living 2 worlds. On stage, you forget about everything, every problem Ahad has, or whatever is going on in the world. Once you step backstage, it's back to, oh, okay.
Just so many years down the line, do you think you shrugged aside the nepotism tag now? खत्म हो गई वो discussion अब आपके लिए?
मेरे लिए तो खत्म हो गई है, but when people say something about
अभी भी कहते हैं?
मतलब they can call me whatever they want. I have my own opinion about it that I'll kind of leave out. But the point being is, I've always loved doing this. I went to school for this. I don't know how many times I've said it, but it's like it's come to the point now where it's like my career is still doing pretty well, and I think people might have their own opinions about, you know, how I'm here, why I'm here. But the point is, I'm here, and I'm gonna keep doing this. I love doing this. I'm not gonna stop. So, were you gonna keep calling me a nepo baby when I'm 50, when I'm 60, when I'm 70, when I'm dead? You know, there's been dynasties and legacies in our neighboring country, and we enjoy their work and enjoy what they do. We should maybe honor the legacies and dynasties we have in this country, and there are a few of them.
Yeah, yeah.
So I guess that's my response to it now. When someone says something, I say, yeah, great. And I will say, I've been very lucky. All my hard work, all my studying, all the obsessions I have about my craft aside, 100% I think is still luck. That is just, I think, how it is. A lot of it is that I've been very lucky.
It's also that you love it. You
And I love it.
what you do.
I think my love for it is so much that the luck just comes in itself.
Yeah. When it's love, usually things happen when you love it that much.
It works out the way it has to. What do people call it these days? Manifestation. You know, like I don't know. Maybe that's what it was later on before. You know, when I was in school, I just kept seeing this vision. I knew that's what I wanted to do. And again, I say it over and over again. I'm very fortunate to be doing it, because being an actor, I think this job is a luxury. It is. People call it, oh, it's difficult, it's hard, it takes a toll on you. Try being a surgeon. That's a tough job. Having someone's life in your hands, that is a difficult job.
Yes.
And being an actor, what? I go up on set, everyone's nice to me, everyone is listening to what I want, you need this, you need that. It's a luxury to be an actor, to be on screen, to have fans, and to be an actor, to be able to do what you love and get paid for it. But I'm not going to call it a hard job. I'm going to call it a luxury. A hard job is, again, a surgeon or being a soldier. These are difficult jobs.
If they love it,
if they love it, they love it. But there's nothing at stake except myself in this job.
That's true. That's true. Totally. Does your father like your work? Does he watch it these days?
I have no idea if he likes my work.
Your mom likes your work.
My mom,
she's your cheerleader. You and your brother. She's so sweet. Classic mom, you know.
Yeah, classic
cheerleader.
Mom. She's such a. I would say she's my number one fan since day one. Yeah, I think maybe in her eyes I could maybe do no wrong, but yeah, I don't know about my dad. My dad, maybe he also keeps his opinion to himself so that it doesn't affect me in any way, affect my work. It could be that.
बात नहीं होती आपके यहाँ डिनर टेबल कॉन्वर्सेशन नहीं होती कि तुमने वो सीन ऐसे किया, बहुत अच्छा किया,
No.
या बहुत बुरा किया?
Never.
अच्छा.
Never.
काम की बात नहीं होती.
Not really. I mean, we'll talk about films we liked or shows we liked, or we'll talk about stories, but never really about each other's work. Which I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but that's how he is. That's how our dynamic is. And
your brother?
I'm very happy with Adnan. I'm really proud of everything that he's achieved, and yeah, I think we both are very different people, and his approach to the work is substantially different from mine. I think he's much better at being famous than I am, probably. I think he maybe enjoys it a bit more.
Okay. Ramzan drama again. He was also seen primarily.
Oh yeah,
in
and
Ramzan
Fairy
drama.
Tale. He's got, I think, another show coming out at the end of the year or next year.
Do you guide him? Do you tell him? Do you give him tips?
I try to tell him to not make the mistakes I made. That's all I do. I think when it comes to being an actor, everyone has their own process, and I think that's it's good to respect that. But then, yeah, when it comes to work and looking at it as a business, I just tell him to not make the mistakes that I maybe made in the
What
beginning.
mistakes did you make? You walked into that question.
I'll say one of the mistakes is maybe not working more.
Good answer.
Yeah, that might be a mistake. Although I still stick to it, that I think it's okay.
It's okay because I'll tell you why it's okay. Because the last drama you did was a huge hit, so it's still there. People are still talking about it.
Yeah.
You just got an award for it, and people said, "Oh, well deserved. Yes, we wanted them to win." Right?
Yeah.
Huh.
But I think any other mistake I've made has probably just been maybe where I've seen. I don't know. The mistakes I've made have been more personal than they have about work. I'd say some of the mistakes might be, overlooking something that I maybe shouldn't have, or maybe not taking my health more seriously while work is happening. I can become a workaholic, but that's mainly because I don't give my brain a rest. I'll come home and then start looking at the scene the next day and say, okay, how am I going to approach this? And so I think the point is to, again, enjoy the work. Don't make it such a stress. And I think that's something that maybe I did. I made it stressful, and I think making it stressful is what I connected hard work being. And I realized that, okay, I'm here because maybe I do understand things well. I think I'm good at my job, so I have to relax a bit and trust myself as well.
Yeah.
That's why I've told Adnan that, trust yourself, trust your gut, and just work hard.
Yes, good advice. Good big brother advice.
I guess so. I'm trying.
Now and again, pictures pop up of you and people say, oh, is he single? Is he with someone? Would you like to answer that, or is that something you would not like to answer at this point in time?
I mean, you put it best. I keep my private life quite private. So I've never really, I don't know. I think it's best for people not to know much about me. I'm not very exciting. I think my characters are exciting, not so much me.
Try them. They find you very exciting. Maybe you think you're not.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty boring. So it's like, that's why when anything pops up, I kind of don't give it much attention, because again, people will understand what they want to understand by seeing a picture or reading a post. What might be the truth, no one will know, because I'm not going to go and justify anything. So I guess that's a good way to look at it. I don't know.
It's good for your peace of mind to keep your private life private.
Because then what happens is your work, there's the work, which is acting, performing, and there's showbiz, which is the world that you kind of forcefully are now part of, even though you might avoid it. The point is to focus on the work. And I think the showbiz element, you can't really avoid it, but you can do your part to be careful. And sometimes I'm not.
No, you are. You are careful
Try to be,
most of the time. Which is why people will, maybe because you do this, people will just be able to talk about your work because they don't know about the stuff that's
why I think
work.
I don't like, without this sounding sad or painful in any way, I don't like being me. I think I like playing the roles. I like Adam Sultan or Aman or Dr. Asfanyar or the one that's coming up. Living in that is actually what I think I get a high off of, is giving myself a break. Because it's not that I'd say I don't like myself. I do like myself. But taking a break and coming back to whoever that was that I left behind is, it's just how I've spent the past 8 years of my life. When I play a role, I'm there. So once the last day happens, once the camera packs on that character, it's quite a painful experience, because you kill somebody. You essentially, that's it. You're not gonna play them again. Although I've been playing this person every day for the past 3 months or 6 months. I've been living, breathing this, and the day comes where, okay, that's it. You're not gonna do it again. Now I'm not gonna go home and still be in the role because the work is done. Yeah.
Who's your favorite character of your own?
My
favorite role of yours?
See, this is an impossible question. I think it's like asking.
एक तो होगा जिसे प्ले करने में बहुत चैलेंज फील हुआ होगा.
चैलेंज
हुआ होगा, ज्यादा मजा आया होगा, ज्यादा टफ होगा. The most challenging role could be Hamlet even.
It depends how you look at it. If you want to look at something technically challenging, then sure, we could say Hamlet. But if you want to look at something that's
emotionally challenging,
and just it kind of takes everything out of you, Jo Bache Sang Samet Lo. I think that's been the most challenging work that I've done so far.
Really? How exciting.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to give too much away, obviously, but it was tough.
It was tough.
Yeah.
We're all waiting for this. Jo Bache Sang Samet Lo ka बहुत दिनों से एंटिसिपेशन है ऑल्सो बिकॉज हमें लगता है हम होप करते हैं कि जब ये एक नेटफ्लिक्स का शो आ जाएगा सो मे बी मोर विल फॉलो दैट
hope
विल
so.
ओपन अप न्यू एवेन्यूज फॉर पाकिस्तानी वर्क एक्टर्स एंड आवर ड्रामाज हैज द डिले बीन टैक्सिंग हैव यू बीन वेटिंग agitatedly कि कब आएगा
Yeah, I think I might even watch it. Who knows? But the thing is that I think yeah I am waiting for it. I'm hopeful and all, but everything has its time. You know what I mean? That it had to happen in this time, and that's how it happened. I think there's reasons for that. Sometimes anything, you know, your car picking you up late. There must be a reason behind it in the cosmos. You know, that's kind of how I've been living life anyway now. I think there's no point going, kab aayega, ye kab hoga, jab hoga, hoga. And I think as long as we, as human beings, think that way, like it said, there's a greater plan for everything, right? So that's the way I look at it.
Good way to look at it.
I'm just happy that I've been able to.
No, and it'll come when it's meant to come. And it'll come when they make us feel that they're ready to put it out there. Of course, they want to perfect it. It's been in the works for years.
It's also just been everyone has just given their A game. Everyone is so. What a cast! I don't think a cast like this will come together again for a long time. And I'm just excited to see everybody else's work. They're all so amazing, and yeah, I really look forward to it.
Ahad, can I ask you who's your favorite co-star?
My favorite co-star?
Yeah.
That's like asking me who my favorite character is that I've played. Everybody gives their own, and I'm not trying to be politically correct or anything. It's just everyone gives their own vibe on a set, and it's the vibe that's required for that time.
Sahi.
If you ask some people if I'm their favorite co-star, I might be the worst co-star to work with because I can be difficult sometimes when it comes to the role. I can be maybe in a corner, not talking to anybody or something.
How are you like on set? Do you sit in a corner and
That's
run the character through your head?
That's a secret. मैं तो ऐसे ही बस example दे रहा हूँ.
कोई गाना नहीं सुनते character में आने के लिए?
No, I have a playlist. I have a playlist for every actor. But that's the thing. I could never say a favorite co-star because I can't judge them for what they're doing at work because they're working. You know what I mean? Maybe their process, like my process for Hum Tum was I was the best person to be around. I was having fun, joking around, all that. But then depending on the role, my process might be different.
And do you think romance really sells a lot in Pakistan? Do you think that's the genre that sells the most?
Oh yeah, I think people love romance. Everyone loves romance. I like romance.
You like romance
Yeah,
also?
I think, like again, love is a universal language. So when people here, I think they want to be taken to a fantasy. They love fantasy, and I think that's one of the reasons that romance really sells is that there's a fantasy element behind it. You know, you can have your tropes of the brooding man and the bubbly girl finally coming together, like you know, or two people who are poles apart, or the neighbors who hate each other. You know, they finally what we love seeing is people coming together because we know it's going to happen. We're not sitting there.
We want to see how it happens.
How it happens, right? We don't sit there going, I wonder what's going to happen by the end of the story. We know they're going to come together. We just want to be there for the process.
And do you also watch romances?
No.
No.
I don't. My palette for content is quite
different.
Different.
From what you work on.
Not even on the same end. I've stopped watching. I think my only drama that I watched properly was, I think probably just Yaqeen Ka Safar. That was it.
Good drama to watch. But the rest were also very good too. Please go and watch them.
Yeah, maybe in a few years. It's always interesting to be part of something and then disassociate yourself from it completely and then watch it. If I'm watching the show just a few months before I finished it, I'm still thinking about behind the camera ये हो रहा था, उस दिन क्या हुआ था, अच्छा इस शॉट के बाद मैंने क्या खाया था, silly things like this.
कभी-कभी तकलीफ भी तो होती होगी, कभी-कभी ड्रामे ड्रैग करते हैं, कभी-कभी फ्लैशबैक्स डाल दिए जाते हैं, ड्रामा हिट होता है तो लंबा खिंच जाता है, जो इतनी अच्छी कहानी चल रही होती है, I mean something that could be 99% great becomes just 80% great because of different tropes that might be added in for whatever reasons, ratings, whatever, right? तकलीफ भी तो होती है ना फिर एक्टर को, शायद इसलिए भी आप ना देखते हो.
No, my reason for watching is different, but I think जब कुछ ऐसे khich jata hai or it becomes longer than it needs to be, there's always reasons behind it. How it affects the content itself is too bad. But I think also when something is doing well, people also don't want it to end. And even if it takes away from parts of it, when 100 say 85 pe aa jata hai, at least they get to live in that moment a bit longer. Kind of a weird way to look at it.
Yeah, I don't agree.
It's what's the word?
It's a very positive way.
It's counterproductive. I understand.
Yes, it's counterproductive.
But
yes.
That's like when I'm watching a good show. Sometimes you don't want it to end, or a good film.
Sure.
And when it finishes, you're like, it'd be so much better if it was just 20 minutes longer. But maybe that 20 minutes longer would have made it worse.
Back when you started out, to who you are today, all the experiences you've gone through professionally and personally, has that changed you as a person? Have you become more careful, more jaded?
I think at my core, I'm still the same. But I've got some walls up now. And I think that happens to everybody with time. And this job being the way it is, I think you also have to guard yourself a little bit. But I don't think the core of me has changed. I could have become a very bitter person very easily. I could have become an angrier person. I could have become a carefree person. I could have become a lot of things. But what I am now is just kind of my collective experience now coming together and making me who I am, I think. But I don't think I've changed as a person.
You're still positive.
Positive, but also I feel when something bad happens to you, you gotta divide your pain. When something good happens, you gotta multiply it. You gotta, it's better to kind of be positive about things than it is to kind of totally go into this darkness. And I don't think that's fair. Sometimes this work can do that to people, for sure.
You've never gone into the darkness. You've never succumbed to it.
Maybe I did, but I think I came out of it.
You came out
of it. So. Yeah.
Everybody does succumb to it sometime or the other. We're all human.
Yeah. And you kind of have to go there to pull yourself out and see who you are now.
अच्छा जैसे आहद धूप की दीवार था, ठीक है? A very bold topic to take on. Very brave of you guys to take it on.
Yeah.
Got a lot of flack because of the topic. No regrets?
No regrets. I think sometimes people are quick to judge based off of promos and things like that. I think it's always better to watch content and make your own kind of educated decision about it. When it comes to the role, I don't regret doing the role. I think the idea behind the story, be it bold, was one of peace. And that's all really it was about. And besides that, the challenge of the role was something I was kind of, what inclined me more to do it.
अच्छा वैसे you are one of the very few Pakistani actors to have worked internationally in such huge projects. Resident Evil was also huge. It was a big project to get into. Do you have a manager operating for you abroad who lines up this work for you internationally?
That's how it works.
Huh.
And there's a very extensive audition process that happens.
Yes, I'm sure.
Because, here, I'm competing with my peers. Outside, I'm competing with everybody. So that makes it a lot harder. And when you do land something, it's very fulfilling. But what's nice about it is when you go and do something abroad, there's no egos. You know what I mean? When I did World on Fire, the best thing about it was that when we all got there, I think that it was all about we're all here together to create some art, or create some content or work or stories. It's never about egos or anything like that, or who's the bigger star or who's this. It's all about we're here together to get the job done. And we've all been through that extensive process of who's going to get the role and whatnot. And now we're all here together. The rest doesn't matter. And I think that's the process of that was really fulfilling.
And that leads to the question that are there egos here then?
Oh yeah, I think there's egos everywhere. I have an ego. We all have egos. It's how we manage that ego. If you kill your ego, I think you live in a much more peaceful world.
But do people kill their egos on a Pakistani set, or does that sometimes become a problem? Don't name names, just generally asking you.
No, I've been very lucky. I've worked with a lot of great actors. I've worked with people who are collaborative, are very supportive actors. So I've been very fortunate with that. I don't think I've dealt with anything as such. The reason I bring up the ego thing is just because we're a small industry. And so whether you're doing well or not doing well, you sometimes want to hold on to what you have. And I think once we get rid of that stress, it frees you to just be a better person sometimes.
Rather than have the pressure
Yeah.
to live up to your last project.
Yeah, which is something I've decided I've also kind of let go.
Acha.
Which is quite relaxing. I think now, again, like I said, it's unfair to any fan that I'm not working. I find that I should do more work, and
You should.
before I get old. So
अभी बहुत time है,
अभी
but
time
you
है,
should
but
do.
ऐसा ना हो ना कि अब 2 साल और break ले लूं.
But look at the wonderful work your father's doing. Maybe there's hope even for when you get old.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Baba's been
Yeah?
doing amazing work. I was so
Yes.
happy watching him on
अब
screen.
मुझे लगता है कि कुछ older actors के लिए भी अब कभी-कभी ऐसी कहानियाँ होती हैं जो इतनी अच्छी होती
Yeah.
हैं कि
And I think I will say, I'll be bold enough to say, sometimes as an industry, we do a disservice to all our veterans and senior
Yes.
actors because they're all incredible. And I think more stories should be written for them. There's this huge obsession, I think, in the industry with youth and with love stories. And albeit that's great, that's a taste that people have here. But we can do better, I think, for them because they're so talented, they're so learned, and they've got so much experience. I think it's time to write more things for them, more complicated roles for them.
at least I think a story should be more well-rounded. It can be a love story, sure,
Yeah,
but let
yeah,
all the
absolutely.
other characters also be humanized
Yeah.
rather than cookie cutter unidimensional roles.
Exactly.
है ना?
Great point.
ये बहुत ज़रूरी है. अच्छा हाँ, तो you should definitely be doing more work, and it's great that अच्छा वो पहले pressure होता था कि पिछला drama hit था तो अगला भी hit हो. It's a very human tendency.
Oh
कभी
yeah,
था ये pressure?
I definitely got caught in that rut because I thought that one did well and this one did well and this one did well. Now what? I realized that, man, go back to the roots. You're lucky to be doing what you're doing, so keep doing it. Stop stressing about it and enjoy it.
आदि आपको खुद समझ आ जाता है कि कोई बैठ के आपको समझाता है.
I don't know. I don't want to say कि खुद समझ में आए क्योंकि I've got such a great supportive family. And I think part of it was that I wasn't on screen and my dad was on screen. So my mom was watching my dad's dramas and everyone was watching my dad's dramas. Go, After Sab. I was like getting a little jealous here. So maybe I should get back on screen. Maybe that's what part of it was.
You should be on screen. And you're lucky you get such interesting roles offered to you. I've
Yeah,
seen
very
so
lucky.
many interesting. I mean, maybe directors think, oh, interesting role, let's ask Ahad Raza Mir if he can do it.
I hope so. I think one of the trickiest things about being an actor is you also want to be seen the way you see yourself. I don't know if that makes sense, but like here we have hero syndrome, which is these are our heroes. Let's plug them in where we can. But each hero, each actor, at least my peers in my age and even younger now, they all have their own personalities, their own styles that I think we should be more aware of. So on that note, that's why I hope that, and I think I've achieved this to a certain point, that directors and producers know what kind of thing Ahad will be more inclined towards.
Or what will fit with him better,
What will
right?
fit with him, yeah, and what will kind of pique his interest.
Maybe.
Which I think is difficult to do, but I guess with years, people kind of get a hold of, okay, this is the kind of stuff he likes doing or which interests him, so... Maybe. I'm not sure if I've cracked that yet, but...
अच्छा आज जब Resident Evil आया, we were very proud, right? It was an exciting thing. It was also something that you hadn't talked about before.
Yeah.
So it came as a surprise. वो भी बहुत अच्छा लगा. मुझे बहुत बुरा लगा कि और कुछ चीज़ें सक्सेसफुल होती हैं, कुछ नहीं होती. मुझे बहुत बुरा लगा कि जब वो हटा नेटफ्लिक्स से, तो हालांकि Resident Evil एक शो था जिसमें बहुत सारे एक्टर्स थे. हमारे ही पेजेस ने लगाया Ahad Raza Mir's Resident Evil gets cancelled from Netflix.
Yeah.
Must have hurt.
No. The thing is, people make judgments off of things right away. The point is, they knew that I was in that show and it got cancelled, so it becomes news that it was cancelled. Netflix cancels shows all the time.
All the time.
They cancel hit shows all the time.
Yeah.
So the thing is, there's no reason for me to be upset. I was upset over the fact that, man, I won't be able to go to that shoot again. That's okay. That's what happens. So I don't.
मुझे upsetting यूँ लगा कि आप जब अपने लोगों को उठाएं, अपने लोगों को clickbait headlines के खातिर इस तरह ना दिखाएं. You know, at least celebrate their successes, but don't just pinpoint them कि oh, his show got cancelled. You didn't think that at all?
No, I just thought it was silly because stuff gets cancelled. Like I just don't get. There's films and dramas that get announced on Instagram all the time that never get made. that don't happen.
Yes, all
फलाने
the
ने
time,
Netflix पे
all
काम
over the
किया है,
world.
फलाने पे किया है, वो कहाँ है फिर? You know, it's just that we just want things to go out.
So you're
You see.
cool-headed about it. जब ऐसी कोई बदतमीजी होती है, you are cool. मैं ऐसे बदतमीजी
पर
कह
मैं
रही हूँ,
करूँ
आप
क्या?
ना कहें.
मैं करूँगा क्या?
हंस लें.
What am I supposed to do? Put up a post? इसलिए नहीं हुआ, फलाना फलाना. What's the point of getting upset about it? जाने दो. People have a goldfish memory about this stuff now. Something comes on Instagram, 3 days later, it's gone. Somebody else takes over.
That's true.
That's why I think it's
That's
more
true.
important to do. My social media right now, I think my responsibility, I feel, is to do work that matters, not in terms of film and television. I'm trying to work with charities and organizations now where I'm like, that's what I should use my social media for things that matter and will actually have a long-lasting impact on people, on society, versus me posting about whatever or having an opinion about everything.
Acha, I haven't Resident Evil. I saw. I didn't see World on Fire season 2.
Yeah.
I couldn't. It wasn't accessible for me. And but I've heard it was amazing.
Yeah, it was a good
And
show.
World on Fire is generally has been a very critically acclaimed, very hard-hitting show, right? And rooted in history. तो पाकिस्तान में लोगों ने देखा है? किसी ने आपको कहा है मैंने देखा है? मुझे तो नहीं मिला.
It's mostly people in the UK that have come up and said we saw you in that show, and some Pakistanis, some मतलब गोरे जो हैं
बहुत ढूंढने से मिलता है, इतने आसानी से हम
But
नहीं
I
देख
think
पा रहे.
eventually with this kind of stuff, eventually it shows up on Netflix or it shows up somewhere else. Like Baba's show was on Sky for the longest time, and now in the UK it's on Netflix. So only a matter of time before it comes here.
Trickle down to Pakistan.
But that show was a great experience. It was.
But Ahad, अब उसका भी season 3 नहीं आ रहा. Does that upset you कि ये क्या है?
No, not really. I understand because I understand production now, and I get that things are very expensive. It was an expensive show. I mean, basically my part was supposed to be in Africa. I don't want to ruin anything for anyone that might want to watch the show. But shooting
बहुत time बाद मिलेगा हमें बता.
It's set in Africa, and so we couldn't go to Africa or to Spain because there's a lot of that COVID stuff still going around.
Oh.
So we shot in a 360-degree blue screen studio. So it was this giant tire factory, blue screen all around for about at least as big as a football field. And so that was the only thing that I found very difficult about that shoot, is because we're in a war zone and it's just blue everywhere. I hate blue screen acting. It's very difficult. It's very
How interesting.
It's weird. And it was full of sand. There was sand everywhere. And so dealing with explosions and gunfire and all this stuff going on, it was a very tough, very fulfilling shoot. Yeah, at the end of the day, I was cleaning sand out of everywhere.
But you like the tough work, na? This I know. The tougher it is, the more you enjoy it.
I like the tough work, but it's like at the end of the day, every day I come home and I go, yaar, kyun haan kiya? Bas aaram se Karachi mein baithta, chill karta. But then,
come on.
Then when you watch the show, you're like, yes, it was worth it.
It got great reviews, and then when season 3 got cancelled, so there was this whole noise on Twitter, ke, oh, why? We want to see more.
Yeah.
Yes, it had a
People
huge
were quite upset,
fan following that wanted.
But that's how it works, you know. Like sometimes things don't get made, doesn't work out the next time, and that's okay. That's how it works.
You were there on the poster. Proud moment.
Yeah, it was cool. Leslie Manville was on the poster.
Yes.
Jonah Howard King, who was what was he? He was also in The Little Mermaid. Like amazing people to work with.
Do you want to work more internationally or in Pakistan? इस वक्त किस तरफ दिमाग जा रहा है?
I think the world is open to do anything. I don't think it's fair for any of us to limit ourselves to one location. The world has expanded. Stories are being told for everybody, and I think it's important for us to have, a foot in each door.
But Ahad, इतना competitive है पाकिस्तानी इंडस्ट्री भी. Competitive इस तरह है. ड्रामे तो बहुत बन रहे हैं. 4 अच्छे बन रहे हैं. उन 25 ड्रामों में 4 अच्छे हैं. उनके लिए हर एक्टर को शौक होता है कि मैं उसमें हूँ. उस तरह से competitive है. जब आप बाहर जाएंगे, वहाँ काम करेंगे, आप यहाँ का लूज नहीं कर लेंगे कोई अच्छा प्रोजेक्ट.
Well, it's okay that
you win some, you lose some.
You lose some. I mean, I'll make another comment here. We have a lot of people say मुझे ये offer हुआ था, ये फलाना role मुझे भी offer हुआ था. The point is, why are you telling us? You didn't do it. There's been a lot of shows that have come out that the script came in front of me. I don't think it's fair for me to go, हाँ मुझे भी offer हुआ था. So what? What does it
और पता है
matter?
इंसिनुएशन क्या होती है? मुझे ऑफर हुआ था, मैंने मना कर दिया.
What was offered to you makes no sense. मतलब if you're talking about years and years later कि ये मेरे पास भी आया था, चलो ठीक है, but किया तो नहीं ना आपने. Whatever the reason, you didn't like it, you had an issue with this, or you didn't have dates. Someone else did it, it became a big hit, and now you want to make a comment about it. Why?
मुझे भी नहीं समझ आता.
Yeah, I just don't understand
It's
it.
a very common way of thinking, and it's a very common point of conversation in different interviews. मुझे भी नहीं समझ आता कि जो नहीं किया उसकी क्यों बात हो रही है, जो किया उसकी बात
हाँ,
करो.
उसकी बात करते हैं. तो I just find it. I find
अच्छा,
it.
आपने किया bold scene in Resident Evil.
Oh yeah.
Were you okay with that? Did you think करूँ ना
It
करूँ?
was quite scary because it's because I knew. I said I know what's going to happen over there, but we have to also understand. Oh boy, okay. We show slapping and violence and all these things on screen. We show abuse to the point that it's like I don't even think people should be watching this. I don't think this is content for children to be watching. Okay? But then when it comes to affection, oh, we got a big problem. But the point is we're still all watching Indian films where this stuff is open. We're all watching Hollywood stuff. Just because now you have this Pakistani actor who's doing it, we feel that now we must judge, we must say something about this. And like I said, everybody's got their own opinion. But I'm sitting in the UK, or where was I shooting? In America. I'm supposed to say, no, I won't do this, but for what reason? For them, it's as simple as shaking hands. And you have to remember, it's a very, very, very technical thing. Part of a story, and there's a whole process behind it. It's not like you show up and say, okay, aaj ye scene karna hai. No, there's a very long process behind it. There's a checklist that we go through, you know?
अच्छा चले, पाकिस्तान पे वापस आते हैं.
Okay, let's come back.
People say you're a Hum TV favorite. Do you think you're a Hum TV favorite?
I think so. I think in some sense I am a Hum TV favorite. I've had such a long relationship with Hum TV. They've always been good to me. They've always listened to me, always taken in my input and respected that. So yeah, I think a little bit of that is there. And that's okay, I think. And now, I mean, I am moving on to other channels as well.
Really? That was my next question.
So, and I'm excited for that, just to kind of see what the difference is. And obviously, I think every channel also has their own mandate of the kind of content that they want to do. So I'm excited to see myself in that position.
But it's all right to be working with one network more frequently because वही roles आ रहे.
No, I mean, I think I've gotten stuff from all the channels. I just think maybe the scripts that Hum TV has sent they've always kind of connected to me in a different way.
They've been very good scripts.
Yeah.
मैं आपके पुराने सोच रही हूँ ना सारे ड्रामे बात
Yeah,
करते
so
हुए.
yeah, and I'm curious to see that once I make this a bit of a shift, what kind of stuff, how it might change me as an actor.
I think every channel has a different way of packaging.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
And packaging matters a whole lot. It's a part of storytelling.
I think so.
Yeah.
100%.
So let's see how that works. But it's interesting. It's a new direction
Yeah.
for you. अच्छा, आज सच बताएं, जब बाहर आपको इंटरनेशनल अवार्ड्स पे बुलाया जाता है, क्या आपको पता होता है आपको अवार्ड मिल रहा है?
No, I don't know. Well, it takes all the fun out of it if I know I'm going to win something. I think the
कुछ
feeling
दिल
of,
में तो होता होगा कि बुला रहे हैं, टिकट है, मैं जा रहा हूँ, मैं शायद जीत ही रहा हूँ.
No, I think it's unfair to know if you're going to win something. It takes the fun out of it. And then वो ही ना फिर ego की बात होती है कि if I'm going to get something, I'll go to the award.
So you'll never ask.
Yeah, I would feel weird asking कि मिल रहा है नहीं मिल रहा है. I think it's an unfair question to ask. It takes the fun out of it. And I think the whole point of that celebration of the work is also that anticipation. Am I going to get it? Am I not going to get it? नहीं मिला. Oh, मिल गया, you know. So it's
Usually मिला है Ahad. I've been to you. I've seen that shelf जहाँ पे बहुत सारी trophies हैं. Yeah, it's a gorgeous shelf. It's a testament to your work over the years.
Yeah, I still.
Does it still give you a high winning a trophy?
I think so. I think it gives you a high, but it's nothing like the first time. Yeah, I still remember the first time, which was I still remember the feeling of them announcing the nominations, and my heart was pumping. It was as if I was doing a workout at the gym. It was just pumping and pumping, and then when they said my name, it's like my body knew I had to get up and go on stage. My mind was still processing that this has happened. तो बहुत weird feeling थी कि body तो चल रही है, okay, जाके stage से award उठाना है, लेकिन brain ये सोच रहा है कि भाई ये एक साल में क्या हुआ है? What's going
That's
on?
magical.
Yeah, it was
यकीन
bizarre.
का सफर.
Yeah, and then because that just happened all so fast, and I think even to this day I'm still trying to catch up to what's happened. Yeah.
It's magic. So we've established the fact that in Pakistani dramas, or maybe in all stories, we love the romantic element. People love romance. It's a dream. It's an escapism for them, right? It's a form of escapism for them. Is it difficult establishing great romantic chemistry with your co-star in different projects? And you've had आपके आ रहे भी हैं, दो नई co-stars के साथ भी आ रहे हैं. So I'm very excited about the Ikrazi's pairing, the Dananir pairing. These are fresh new pairings. Is it difficult establishing chemistry with them, romantic chemistry?
Well,
How do you go about it?
that's a good question. I'm trying to think of something, but I think my most honest answer is you just have to dive into it. It's not something that you can kind of artificially recreate. You can't think too much about it. And you have to look at it the same way with chemistry between two actors in general, whether it's somebody who's playing your father or the antagonist, or like you said, the romantic partner. It's the energy between two people that kind of meets somewhere in the middle. And I find that energy is different on every set and with every different individual. Energy जो बन जाती है वही नजर आती है आपको. I think when two people vibe, vibe एक जैसी है, frequency भी एक जैसी है, तो वो chemistry वैसे भी audience को नजर आती है. जब वो frequency नहीं match होती है, वो भी नजर आती है. And I
तो
think
आधा
that's
आपकी frequency match हो जाती है.
मेरी frequency बहुत वो है, variable है. It keeps moving depending on
Very flexible.
Very flexible, yeah. So yeah, I think that's and we have to be flexible. We have to be flexible and willing to take in the energy that someone else is giving us.
To make it believable.
Yeah. Like for example, there's an actress I just recently worked with, who I won't give the name because
क्यों आप नाम क्यों नहीं बताएंगे?
I can't yet. But they are
Secret.
She is one of the most generous actors that I've ever worked with, where she is giving me the space to be as big, as soft, as complex, as simple as I want to be, and she's given me that space. Instead of fighting me in the scenes, instead of trying to make the scene hers or whatever it is, she's supporting me. So whenever this show comes out, the quality of my work is just a reflection of how much she supported me.
Is this a secret project that I don't know about?
No, it's not a secret project. I just can't say anything about this project yet.
I know about two of your upcoming projects.
So बस समझ लें.
Do friendships last in the industry? Are there people that stand by you in the industry who are your friends for good?
Yeah, I think so. But there's like three kinds of friendship.
Achha.
There's friendships of transaction, which is where you just want something out of each other. Doesn't really go beyond that. Then there's friendships of distraction, where you interact with people because you want to have a good time, you want to hang out, whatever it is. Then there's friendships that are just there because the person cares for you, bothers to ask you how you're doing. Somebody that you very selfishly want to know, True friends, And I've got a few of those like that in the industry, maybe.
In the industry?
Yeah, and when I say few, I really mean a few. But that's not to say that I don't respect every individual in the industry. I've got good relationships with everybody, and I think that's important. But my real friends, like the friends that वो बचपन के जो दोस्त होते हैं, वो तो बहुत दूर हैं. They're in Canada. They're living their own lives, and so yeah, like I think even it's just hard to make friends at this age, maybe, or in this industry in general.
In this industry in general, because it's a competitive industry, because people are.
No, I just think it's just difficult to make friends beyond a certain age.
Okay, so it's got nothing to do with the profession.
Not really. Like I think it's all about who you bother to stay in touch with. I also feel that, a lasting friendship really just, again, like I said, depends on the frequencies of two people. If they match, they will just match. I just find it tough maybe because, when you're in school, you're around people all the time and you make lasting friendships or relationships that go on for years. Beyond that, you kind of become, you grow up, and it's just difficult to make friends in the same way. It just,
Do you also
it just
become
is.
more careful as opposed to when you were in school as to who to trust, who to confide in?
Yeah, that's true. Because when you grow up with somebody, it's very different than just meeting somebody and getting to know them.
Especially when you live a life in the spotlight and you're really famous.
Yeah, yeah. I guess that also that doesn't help. It is nice because people then want to talk to you and they want to get to know you. That's a nice thing about it. But then I guess past that, it's difficult to read people and what their intentions might be.
चलें बताएं. Morning show question. खूबसूरती का राज बताएं. चलें. How important are looks in this profession? And how careful are you about how you're looking when you're stepping out?
Oh, I wish I was more careful. I wish I was much more careful. But I am what you would call I'm a bro. I'll put on sweatpants and a t-shirt and walk out. I'm not bothered by the vanity of things most of the time. I should be. I did my hair today. But I don't know.
You did them yourself?
I did it all by myself. I'm saying it to the camera, by myself.
Good.
But what was the question?
Do you particularly take care of your appearance when you're stepping out? How important are looks in this profession?
Looks are very important. Looks are like number one. I mean, it's not...
More than the performance?
Yeah, of course. There's a lot of people I'd say shouldn't be actors, but they're still up there. I mean, and we all think that. But
we will not name them because this is not that kind of interview.
Absolutely not. But I think one thing we have to remember is sometimes it's not about beauty. Sometimes it's about having an interesting face. There's a lot of actors that we watch here, that side, Hollywood, who you wouldn't say are conventionally good-looking people, but they have a face that is just interesting to watch. So I think that's actually the point. Is some people, the camera just likes some people. No matter how they look, once they're in front of a camera, you just can't take your eyes off of them. That's my opinion on it.
I would ask you what role would you want to do, but I want to give a new spin to that question as we inch towards wrapping up. Which role of your father's would you have wanted to do?
Whoa, okay.
Your favorite role of your father's that you would love to do, should it come to you as an actor?
I think the obvious answer would be Zain from Tanhaiya. But if you've seen his work in Gangs of London, that stuff's pretty cool. I don't know. I'd love to do something from one of his films, probably. One of my favorite films that he did was a comedy named Miss Hong Kong. I've seen that a few times, and that would have been fun. But yeah, I think if there's ever a proper remake, I would love to play Zain. I think it would be a very, very nice kind of full
Coming full circle.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you think 10 years down the line you'll still be acting? I do know that you delve now and again into direction, right?
Not direction.
Production?
I've been doing a lot of things behind the scenes, which is
are?
one of the reasons that I've been kind of MIA.
What are the behind the scenes
I've been
things that
working
you've been
on
doing?
a few things. Stories, especially. Stories being the kind of priority. And who knows, maybe you'll see my name on a produced by maybe soon.
As a producer, yeah?
I think that's the eventual goal. But when it comes to acting, I think it's not something I can part ways from ever.
Don't part ways from it ever.
I won't be able to. I'd go crazy.
Don't go crazy.
No,
don't part ways from it.
I don't want that, yeah.
And now that you've realized you need to work more, we'd love to see you more and more on screen.
I appreciate you saying that, and I'm grateful that people still want to see me. I make it sound like I've been gone forever, but...
No, you haven't been gone at all. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. So, Hope to see you more and more. I am itching to ask you about your upcoming projects, but you've told me कि ये बात नहीं हो सकती.
I think it's best we leave it to being on the screen and let people experience it for the first time.
And best we leave it for another interview next
for another
time.
one. There we go.
Next
for another
time.
one.
Now we'll be talking more often.
Yes,
Hopefully.
I hope so.
Thank you so much. Ahad.
Thank you. Thank you.